4.2, solving systems with substitution. We're going to talk about how to solve a system by substituting. There are three ways of solving a system. You might have seen graphing, substitution, or elimination. So today we're going to talk just about the substitution method. And that involves replacing something or substituting it and solving. You might be familiar with substitution on a basketball court. If player A gets exhausted, coach calls timeout and sends B in. It's important to note that both players can't play the same position at the same time, or they get called offsides. The same is true with math. You completely replace it when you substitute. In English, you can use substitution to make your writing more interesting. Instead of my brother is a nice guy, I can replace it with the word he, and that makes the writing more smooth. So how do we rewrite a math sentence? Let's take a look at this system of equations for number 1. Both sentences are y equals. So that means wherever I see a y, I could just simply replace it with 5x plus 5. And we're going to rewrite it that way. So 5x plus 5, that's in place of this y right there, equals x plus 5. The next step is to solve. So I'm going to move all of my x's to one side of the equation. And then I'll move all of my numbers to one side of the equation. And divide by 4, x equals 0. I'm not done yet though, because I only know x, and I would really like to know both x and y. So after I've solved for x, I have to take that x equals 0 and substitute it either in for this x or for that x. So I'm going to go ahead and use the second equation. I think it's a little simpler. Y equals 0 plus 5, so y equals 5. And I can rewrite this as an ordered pair. There's my solution. In example 2, we're looking for a variable that's all alone, in this case the x. And everywhere I see x, I can replace it with 3y minus 1. So let's rewrite that top equation. So I'm replacing the x, and I replaced it with 3y minus 1. I'll go ahead and distribute and solve. Let's combine like terms. Add all of the constants on the same side. And divide to undo multiplication. So y equals 2. I'm not finished yet. Now that I know y is 2, I'm going to replace the y in the equation with 2. So I have this top equation here, 2x minus y equals 8, and I know that y is 2. So I'll go ahead and solve that. So add 2 to both sides. 2x equals 10. And that gives me x equals 5. So together with y equals 2 and x equals 5, the solution is going to be the ordered pair 5, 2. All right, last equation, number 3. What are you going to solve for? Well, you have to actually set up the equations in order to solve for x or y first. So let's begin by solving for this x, and I'll subtract a y on both sides. So x equals negative y minus 8. Now I'm ready to substitute. Negative y minus 8 is going to be my new x. I'm going to replace it into the other equation. So I've got 3 times something minus y equals 4. And I said x equals negative y minus 8. So I'll substitute that in. Negative y minus 8. And distribute and solve. Combine like terms. So negative 4y equals 20, which means that y equals negative 5. For our last step, we have to plug that in and solve for x. If I know that y equals negative 5, I'm going to replace it. X minus 5 equals negative 8. Add 5 to both sides. and x equals negative 3. So my solution is negative 3, comma, negative 5. You can always check this by substituting it back in and seeing if it works. And that's how you find a solution to a system using substitution.